What's up, everybody? Welcome into another edition of the 1796 Sports Podcast. Um, man, baseball is a funny sport, isn't it, Jim? Um, Texas A&M Aggies come into Knoxville over the weekend and take 2 out of 3 from the number one Tennessee Vols, now number 5 after the new rankings that came out today. I guess we'll start with the good though. The Vols no hit the Aggies Friday night. 10-0 run rule victory. Liam Doyle was nails. So yeah, Jim. Friday night. Let's start positive. Let's start positive.
Well, I mean, like you said, I mean, Liam Doyle, pitcher of the week, SEC pitcher of the week, absolutely phenomenal as always. I mean, between him and the two Ole Miss transfers, I mean, those guys had weekends.
Yeah,
Um, but the rest of the team couldn't tell you where they were. But like you said, baseball's a funny sport. You're gonna have that, and I just want to put this out there. I mean, I understand A&M's not having the season everyone thought they were gonna have, but Texas A&M is a great baseball team. They're loaded with talent.
yeah,
I mean, you've seen it. They hit what 11 home runs.
yeah,
They can hit, and I think this weekend is going to wake them up, and they're going to see a different A&M the rest of the way because they know their backs against the wall. The Vols aren't against the wall. The Vols are in a pretty spot to continue the season and be in the postseason comfortably. A&M's not. Has to play their best the rest of the way to get in the postseason.
yep,
And like you said, funny sport. You're gonna have that, and but no worries. I'm not worried about the Vol season. Tony, like you said before we even started, Tony said it last week. I mean, they're a great baseball team. I'm not mad about it. Obviously, I want to beat everybody, but it's gonna happen. You're gonna have these weekends.
yeah. It's just I think it was so shocking because we haven't seen it at home in since 2023. A series lost at home in 2 years. So, but like you said, a team that's scratching and clawing for every win at this point in Texas A&M, and they're certainly talented enough to do that, and they sure as hell did it on Saturday. I think if it wasn't a doubleheader, I think Tennessee probably wins the series because that gave A&M no time to cool down. It gave us no time to get hot again. It's just okay. 45 minutes later, and I mean Saturday for A&M after that Laviolette home run to go ahead 4-2 in the first game of the doubleheader. It was just a home run derby from that point on. It was ridiculous, and again, a talented team. And I don't know why they came into this series at 1-8, but like I said, it happens. I don't. I mean, I saw a lot of people concerned about the pitching and this and that and all that. And this is certainly not the reason Tennessee lost, but that was a tight zone on Saturday from both umpires who were behind the plate, and it led to having to groove some pitches. And Tennessee was one pitch at bats. They're either popping up or hitting it right on the laser to somebody in the infield, and then A&M was hitting home runs. So I really think that's what happened. Like A&M just had better luck and had a better approach at the plate on Saturday.
Yeah, and it's gonna happen. I mean, you're playing in the SEC. Everybody's good. I mean, other than Missouri probably, um, and Florida. I don't know what happened to them, but yeah, baseball is a funny sport, man. You're gonna have weekends like this where, like you said, you hit it right on the barrel and it just ends up in someone right in someone's breadbasket. So it's like I'm not mad about it. I mean, Texas A&M was number one at the beginning of the year. Really good. Like I said, they were in the College World Series against us in the championship last year. So I think you're going to see a different A&M team the rest of the way. And I think this was good for the Vols. I think it was a wake up call. And like I said before, A&M was back against the wall. Vols weren't. And I
Yep.
think this is going to wake up the Vols for the rest of the year.
Yeah, and you just mentioned it too. I mean, you add in the revenge factor from last year for the
Mm-hmm.
multitude of players they had returning from that team, and then um, you add in getting no hit and run ruled the night before. I mean, a team as talented as A&M is going to have something for you the next day, and Tennessee just didn't have an answer for them. Next up for the Vols, they go to Ole Miss. here's to hoping that Liam Doyle and Andrew Fisher have legacy games against their prior school. Any thoughts going into that one coming up this weekend, Jim?
Again, the Rebels have been average this year. A, t- a series that I think we should win. But pitching's got to be there. Can't have those, sloppy errors here and there. I think Antigua's really fixed that problem with us. I think him being in the field and having Dean at third has been incredible. I really hope Gavin Keelan could come back soon. That bat is obviously, it's not missed, but I love to have it.
Yeah.
Dalton Bargo is still doing Bargo things, really hitting really well. But yeah, I think we should win the series. I'm not going to say we're going to sweep them, but because it's the SEC and it's baseball, but I think Tennessee should win the series.
Yeah. I mean, Ole Miss comes in now just one spot behind Tennessee in the D1 baseball rankings at number 6. 8-4 in the conference, just one game worse than Tennessee. They lost the series to Arkansas, swept Missouri like everybody has. They took a series 2-1 from Florida. Then they took a series 2-1 from Kentucky most recently. So I'm looking for it to be a similar situation to this last one. I mean, they're going to have to bring a good effort. The Vols are, and especially with it being on the road and one of the toughest places to play in Oxford. So yeah, should be a fun weekend coming up. Any more thoughts on baseball before we move on to some transfer portal news for the basketball Volunteers?
Nope, I'm excited to talk about this topic right here.
Most notably, so far, Tennessee seems to have their point guard for next year with Jacoby Gillespie committing to Tennessee over the weekend. Starter for Maryland all year, part of the Crab Five from Greenville, a guy who sounds like he wants to be a Vol, and now he is. Your thoughts, Jim?
It's an awesome get. Hometown kid. Averaged about 15 points per game, 3 rebounds, and 5 assists. Obviously, I don't know. It's really hard to replace a guy Ziegler. But overall, he's a great guy to pick up. Great shooter. Last year, he shot 40 almost 41% from 3, which is huge. Something that could really help us out. But my biggest thing is I actually like he's a hometown kid. He wanted to play for the Vols. He has an opportunity to, and we all know Rick Barnes is gonna really push defense on him. So
Yep.
I think the offense mixed with the teachings of Rick Barnes could be a great fit. So I'm really excited about this one, especially because of the shooting. I mean, you're having to replace Chaz Lanier. This is one of those that could, potentially, fix that.
Yeah, just talking about his defense, he did lead Maryland in steals, so I think he understands, or the defensive side of the ball, or he wouldn't even be looking at Tennessee. I think that's a known thing if you're thinking about committing to the Vols out of high school or through the transfer portal. So, but yeah, like you said, super excited to have him. Just being from Greenville, I think he did his first 2 years at Belmont, if I'm not mistaken. And then, of course, last year he had you know, his really coming out party with Maryland. But yeah, happy to have him. And then Jalen Carey from Vanderbilt, a guy that when Tennessee played Vanderbilt this year, I could not stand. So I am
Mm-hmm.
thrilled to have him.
Yeah, he had 14 and 18 against us and
Yep.
had a bunch of rebounds. And like you just said, he really pissed you off that he was on the other team. And that's how he plays. His stats aren't crazy, but I'll take 6 rebounds a game. I'll take 8 points a game. You were talking about it last podcast. Excuse me. You were talking about it last podcast. We needed a guy like that you could put it in the post and he could get you a couple points.
Yeah.
This is the guy. His field goal percentage this year is almost 50%.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't shoot the ball a whole lot, but when he does, he gets it done. But yeah, great pickup. I think the backcourt or the front court is looking real good for the Vols. You have I mean, they have a bunch of spots they need to really replace. I think they're waiting on the 5th year thing, because if you could get Azakai again, obviously you're going to take him.
Yeah.
But I think the Vols are going to be looking good next year. I think you got something going with the big men. Get a couple more guards, maybe a Rodney Rice. So they're maybe the Chattanooga kid that could just shoot lights out, because that'll really open up the Vols next year. I think you said it perfectly last podcast about how you needed a guy like Jalen Carey. You got Jalen Carey, who plays with a lot of heart, and he gets the job done. So I'm really excited about Jalen Carey, and I like how his whole answer about I'm a Vol now, I don't give a crap about no black and gold.
Yeah.
I love that. I can't wait to play Vandy next year, because he's going to go off.
Yeah. That is hands down my favorite part about this commitment so far. I mean, from what I heard, he was mad that Mark Byington didn't start him, and maybe that's the reason his numbers don't look as good. But if you watched him play, like you were saying, he's a force down on the block at rebounding, blocking shots, scoring in the post, which is, like you said, what we need. It's what we needed out of that position going into next year. So I'm looking very much forward to watching him put on orange and white instead of black and gold next year. I mean, and furthermore, you don't hate players who aren't good. Like,
Exactly.
like that's the biggest reason that I'm excited. I mean, I think it was him that Zakai Ziegler ended up chucking the ball into his chest and
Yes, it
getting
was.
and getting a double technical in the game in Knoxville. And just people like that. I mean, Awaka was good at that too, just getting under people's skin. Like, it's good to have those type of players, especially in a Rick Barnes program. So, but other than that, I don't know who else we've been looking at. Obviously, we lost out on Isaac McNeely from Virginia. Seems like Louisville paid him a lot more than what any school was willing to pay him. Uh, any thoughts on Tennessee not getting him?
It's a disappointment, because he could have been a factor here, but I think Tennessee. I'm not worried. I really do think Gillespie's going to try and get Rodney Rice, because Rodney Rice, dude, is
Yep.
another special player. I mean, averaging 14 points a game, shooting 43% from the field, and another 30% 3-point shooter, and a crab five guy.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not worried. You got plenty of time. There's plenty of guys in the portal. I mean, unreal amount of guys in the portal. But yeah, obviously you would like to land a guy like that, especially coming from Virginia, defensive like team. He could shoot, But here's the thing, and I laughed because I saw a comment about Jalen Carey. He just all he wants is the money and all that. I hate to tell you, like Jalen Carey is not getting a crap ton of money to come play for Tennessee.
You would certainly not think so. I mean, it's
No.
just based on his numbers. But again, this is the kind of stuff that schools like Tennessee have to do, is find the under the radar guys when you spread it out over every sport instead of just one or two. I'm reading on three right now. His NIL value is projected at 1 million. I don't know about that. Like you said, I mean, I'm sure he didn't.
He's getting money. He's getting money.
He's getting compensated well to be a Tennessee Vol, but yeah, I just that's not the reason players come to Tennessee under Rick Barnes. And if you think that, then I don't know what to tell you. It's the same reason Tony Vitello doesn't. I mean, you remember in that rant last year after we won the Super Regional against Evansville, Tony Vitello said, if you're looking for a handout, just don't even come take a visit here. I think it's a lot of the same scenario with Rick Barnes. They're only going to give it to the guys who, deserve it. So,
but you look at that with football too. I mean, Josh Heupel doesn't hand money out. I mean, guys like Ricky Gibson, where you need a Ricky Gibson to stay, because if you lose Ricky Gibson, that's a big deal.
yeah,
Then you're in big trouble. But like you said, guys that deserve it are going to get the money. But I think Josh Heupel's the same way. I think all three coaches are that way, where it's, hey, you come to this program, like you're not going to, obviously we're not paying you, but unless you're like a Nico, Nico's gonna get the money. I mean, quarterback, depending on what position you play. Same thing
Yep.
goes with all sports. I mean, you're gonna pay the point guards money. I mean, point guards are huge. Or if you like, what's his name from what's that school? Birmingham or whatever. The center, Laxenford or whatever. Guys
I
like
don't
that
know.
who, guys like that and Donovan Dent are gonna get crazy money because they're proven and you know like you said deserve it. So I'm not really worried. I think Rick Barnes has killed the portal the past 2 years. So I expect a couple more names. Rodney Rice being one of them. Roommates with Gillespie, how you were saying that before. But yeah, I'm not worried. Plenty of guys in the portal, and Rick Barnes is going to get it. We need a bunch of bodies um, this next season, so it's going to be interesting. I'm very excited to see what the team looks like next year, and maybe who knows, we'll get a surprise Kai Ziegler fifth year, and if that's the case, this team's going to be absolutely filthy.
I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility with the power to the players movement that's been happening for the last 5 6 years now. So we'll see. Um, I don't know if I've said it already, but I think we have 4 scholarships left for the basketball team, assuming nobody transfers and all the high school recruits come in and pan out. So we'll see. I mean, they got plenty of time to fill out 4 scholarships. So um, today, spring practice wise for the football team, Josh Heupel, I think it was their final scrimmage before the orange and white game coming up this weekend. Um, he had a lot. Of course, the big topic is what's Boo doing in practice? Going both ways, and he was very complimentary of Boo Carter. Josh Heupel was. He said, when you have to learn to hold another side of the ball, and he said he's done a really good job of that. So,
Yeah.
how excited are you to see Boo Carter? Just what the offense has in store for him, because I it excites me every time I think about it.
I'm the same way. It excites me, but how much are we going to see Boo Carter play offense? Are we
Yeah,
going to see it here and there? Are we going to see it every other drive? Are we going to, because that's what I'm seeing is maybe you see him every other drive or every, third drive, Boo Carter plays offense. And I think that's what you're going to get at the beginning of the season, seeing what he does. And if he does the special things we know he could do, they'd be stupid not to have him. But between all the pieces we have, obviously Boo Carter is the one of, if not the best athlete we have on this football team.
yeah,
You got Travis Smith Jr., you got Braylon Staley, Mike Matthews, Chris Brazzell. Yeah, it's just a hard thing to do to get all those guys on the field. Um, but I expect amazing things from Boo Carter, not only on the defensive side but on the offensive side. We've seen his highlights in high school, and we've seen how freakish athlete he is. I can't wait to get the opportunity to see him just get 6 in the checkerboards.
yeah. It's gonna happen. It's gonna
Oh, it's
happen.
gonna. Oh yeah,
It's
punt
gonna happen.
return, anything.
Yeah. I mean, Heupel did say today. He said we're intentional in what positions we're putting them in. You know, during practice and in the scrimmage, and trying to manage everything with because this isn't very common. I don't think many football coaches outside of high school have ever dealt with this. So
Other than Dion.
yeah, I mean, it's just not something you see very often. But if Boo wants to do it, more power to him. You already mentioned Travis Smith. I think he's been. I think him and after today, what Heupel said about Peyton Lewis, he said Peyton Lewis has also had a great spring. He's just a lot more comfortable and understanding, the offense. Lewis and Smith Jr. seem to be the young guys making a splash. Have you heard anything else? Any other names coming out of spring practice?
Yeah, I have a couple that I want to bring up. I heard Jake Merklinger is really catching some attention. I would not be shocked for him to be. I mean, he's going to be the backup guy. God forbid anything happen to Nico, but I've heard a lot of great things about how he's performing in spring, which is awesome to hear because obviously he's not taking Nico's spot. But
Yep.
if anything happens to Nico, you have a guy that you can rely on, which is what we're hearing. But another guy is Ethan Davis. A lot of people are forgetting how big Ethan Davis is and how athletic he is. And Miles Kitselman's hurt right now. He's probably going to miss all of spring.
Yep.
Um, and Ethan Davis is going to have to step up. Not only him, but Brom and Van Dorsleer. I think that's his name, right? I don't even
Yeah.
know. But they're going to have to step up. But Ethan Davis is freakish athlete, another one that could really turn heads. And him and Miles together will be a fantastic duo. But those two are my mains that I've heard. And I mean, we talked about Travis Smith Jr. on how freakishly athletic he is. But I'm more worried about. I really want to. I wish they had more on McCoy and Kitzelman to see what's their status. Are they gonna be ready for the season? Are they gonna be out the first 3 games? Like what's the verdict? What are we looking at? Type thing. But we obviously don't have that information yet.
Yeah. And I'm sure once we get into you know fall practice, a few weeks before the season, we'll hear some more concrete things. But Josh Heupel, he's gonna have him on the questionable report until they play probably. That's just how a lot of coaches do it. So, but yeah, I mean it's pretty quiet spring. I haven't heard too much other than what we've talked about, which I think is a good thing. The only other thing I've heard is that he wasn't happy with the penalties in the first scrimmage, and it got better today. Good. I mean, that's just what you get with Josh Heupel. They're going to take care of business and not be too flashy about it until kickoff. So
Yeah, I was
it's
kind
good.
of also going to ask you about. I heard about how Pendleton and Moy or Wendell Moe have been practicing with the twos. They've gotten some with the ones, and I'm calling them the ones. Is your tackles with Hurd and Sanders?
Yeah.
Those are going to be your two tackles, and I don't even know who's the center. I don't think you have a solidified center right now. So I'm kind of worried to see what happens. I'm gonna assume Pendleton's gonna be a guard and Wendell Moe's gonna be a guard. But who's
Yeah.
that center? Or is Satterwhite gonna be the center? Or do they move Max Anderson to center? Like what do they got here? You got a lot of options. I'm really not worried about the offensive line as long as they stay healthy. Um, I think Hurd's gonna make a statement this year. I think he's gonna be my biggest turnaround guy from last year. I think Hurd is going to be the guy we thought he was going to be this year.
I hope
And
so.
I mean, he's got to protect that blind side, man, because that was a big thing with Nico this past year. He was just getting destroyed from his blind side.
Yeah. The so the offensive line. I mean, you kind of went over it there. I mean, we're assuming Hurd and Moe and Pendleton at the guard spots, and then Sanders on right. I've also heard some stuff from Larry Johnson as far as the other tackle spot. I'm hoping that's not true. I want to hear. I want to see Sanders out there day one because I don't want any.
Yeah,
I don't want to do this again. Like we need to play the guys we got in our recruiting class. Okay, but the more they practice, the more they practice together, the better they'll be. And I think I don't really put much stock in who's doing it in the spring. I really pay attention, like I said a few minutes ago, when fall camp starts. Like you know a lot more about what the coaches are thinking, 4 weeks out from a game than 4 months out from a game. So, but yeah, I mean that's the assumption. Like you went over. I mean I don't know if you know who else would be in the running. I mean I guess you have Umarov and a few other guys, but you know here's the thing I'll say about the offensive line. We know they're going to be able to run the ball. They've done it all 4 years, but they need to get better because the last 2 years in pass protection left a lot to be desired, especially against the more talented teams, and it lost us some games. And like I said, I really want Sanders to be out there from snap number one and game number one. I don't want any bullshit excuses this time.
Well, same goes with the wide receivers. Is we complain
Yeah,
about it all the time with the young guys, the young guys, the young guys. You know what? You got the talent that you didn't have 3 years ago.
yeah,
Let the young kids play. Mike Matthews is going to play. Braylon Staley's got to play. I know Chris Brazel's going to play, but Travis Smith Jr., um, Dobson, you got to get them time. Let them play. Same thing with the tight ends. I mean, you got talented tight ends that are really young, but when it comes to Sanders, he's got to play. I mean, between him and Hurd, if here's my thing, if Nico has the time Hendon Hooker had, I think Nico is better than Hendon Hooker talent wise, but Hendon had ample time that whole year that it was just people are finding when wide receivers have that much time to get open, they're
yeah,
going to get open.
yeah.
So again, I think Nico has the talent to be better than Hendon Hooker, but he needs the time.
Yeah,
So
Hendon also had 4 years of quarterback experience from Virginia Tech before he even got here. I think that's a big part of the offense too. I mean, just having an experienced guy in that role, and the more Nico does it, the better he'll get at it. I mean, I think you saw last year after pretty much after that when he got knocked out of the Alabama game for one play, and then Gaston came in and threw an interception. Pretty much after that, he was a lot better than he was through the first 6 games of that season, 6.5 games, whatever it was. If we can get like late October until the Ohio State game, Nico, all of next year, and if not better, Tennessee will be just fine. I don't know what you think about that. I don't know your overall thoughts from Nico last year, but I was pretty pleased with the way he did it. And like you said, with more time to throw and another year experience and their offseason experience, I'm looking forward to watching him play too, 100%.
oh yeah, I think Nico was good last year. I think Nico had to use his legs more. That was the thing with Hendon was Hendon knew when he had to use his legs,
Yeah,
and that's what made him dangerous. And we've been talking about this forever with Nico. With if Nico knew when to run, I'm not saying he doesn't know when to run, but if they would let him run and being that real dual threat that you have to worry about, that's what made Jaden Daniels so good. And that's why he's so good in the NFL. Lamar Jackson, same thing.
yep,
And I'm not saying Nico's a Lamar Jackson or Jaden Daniels, but I'm saying like when you have to worry about that as a defense, that opens up a lot for the offense. And like you said, when they protect him in a pass coverage that well, it's going to work out. And again, I'm not worried. I think, like you said, with the extra year experience and all that, I think Nico's gonna be just fine. I think this football team's gonna be just fine. I think Tennessee makes the playoffs again this year. So it's going to be an interesting season. You have a tough road map. You got to play Bama, Florida, Kentucky. You got to
yep,
play them all on the road. So we'll see what happens.
yeah. Just speaking to Nico running before we get off here, unless you have anything else, he looks a lot bigger,
Oh yeah,
and I think that will convince him to run some more. I mean, when he got knocked out of that Alabama game, I think that kind of knocked him into the season. Really, I mean, like he got hit real hard. He didn't die, and he was like, "Okay, let's go." And then, even in the Vanderbilt games, he ran a lot. In the Ohio State game, even that was one of our most effective ways of moving the ball that godforsaken night was him scrambling. So I think he's gotten over that, and I think he's going to be a threat with his legs a lot more. And then also, you mentioned Merklinger. When you have a guy behind him who's not a walk on, maybe the coaches are more willing to let him loose more in 2025. So, you got anything else tonight, buddy?
if the Vols want to win a national championship, Nico's got to run. That's all I'm going to say.
Pretty simple. Pretty simple. I
That's it.
100% agree. The Heupel offense is at its best when the quarterback is a threat to run every play. So, I guess that'll do it. Go Vols, buddy.
Go Vols, baby.